let's move on here to Sunday Night Football. It's the Falcons and Michael Penix going up against the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, J.J. McCarthy, and the Vikings in their home opener at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. And you know what? This is a rematch of the national championship in 2023 with Penix and Washington going up against JJ and Michigan. Now, obviously, JJ won that game. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this one, Christian?
Give me Minnesota. I think, Penix did look pretty comfortable last weekend, but, there is no Caleb McGarry. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that this week. Brian Flores is going to be able to rattle Penix a little bit. But I think Penix is going to stand in the pocket a lot. He's going to make a lot of good plays, and I think he's a great quarterback. So I think he'll be just fine. I just think the defense does not stand a chance against Justin Jefferson and KOC with a really good running game. I mean, the one thing I will take away from the Minnesota game versus the Bears is Jordan Mason is legit. I think he's a great change of pace back to Aaron Jones. And as long as they got that run game, they're going to be hard to beat.
I think that Aaron Jones is going to be the change of pace back for Jordan Mason at some point, the way this is going. I mean, I think he's going to take the majority of the reps. But sorry to interrupt.
I just think Aaron's he's the better, more explosive back, big play back. But yes, I think to keep him fresh throughout the season, absolutely, Jordan Mason is going to probably take most of the running load, if you will. But yeah, I don't see anyone stopping Justin Jefferson this game. And then up front, Jalen Redmond. Shout out Jalen Redmond. He had a hell of a game. I was kind of shocked when they traded Harrison Phillips to the Jets this early this season. But man, watching their young guys, Levi Drake Rodriguez, Redmond, with Hargrave and Allen, they got a really good interior defensive line to go with Van Ginkel, who is in concussion protocol, but Van Ginkel, Turner, and then Grenard, extremely talented front seven. We'll see about Cashman too, hamstring injury. So they should be good though.
Turner, what are your thoughts on this one?
I actually really like Atlanta in this game. You're talking about a team in Minnesota that, for I would say large portions of that game, were should have gotten the snot kicked out of them by the Bears. And look, one thing I think we're not mentioning that for about 3 quarters, I think it was really a masterclass put on by the Bears defensive line, or was it? I don't know if it was really more the Bears defensive line or that. I think that this remade offensive line for Minnesota is a bit weaker than we think. I mean, obviously they signed Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, you draft Donovan Jackson. I think that group specifically kind of left a lot to be desired and underexceeded my expectations. And look, this team in Atlanta, again, I'm not going to sit here and say their defense is great. They did invest in pass rush, and I think from that perspective, KOC and McCarthy, I love KOC more than anybody, but again, I think coming off an emotional win on the road, and then you're coming to play Atlanta, I think that there's value on Atlanta. I already bet them at +4.5. It's already gone down since I bet it. I think Penix looks really, really good. He seems like he's gotten better since last year when he first started playing, and I really like who's the McVay? He's a McVay tree guy. He's the OC for Atlanta.
Zach Robinson.
Zach Robinson. I like Zach Robinson. And I think out of all the offensive schemes that tend to have some success against Brian Flores' scheme, it's like a McVay tree type scheme. So I like the Falcons in this game, +4.5. I don't think Minnesota is as good as people think, despite winning the game against Chicago. And I think Atlanta's a team that has some flaws for sure, but I think that 4.5 is too many points. In fact, I could see them winning this game outright. So give me Atlanta.
I will say Justin School looked terrible. He looked awful at left tackle. We'll see if Darisaw plays, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, if Darisaw plays, that could be a big difference. Yeah, I mean, just in my opinion here, the Michael Penix put the Atlanta Falcons in a position to win a game against the Buccaneers last week, who I think are a better team than the Vikings. I really do. And to your point, as you said, JJ McCarthy looked brutal for the first 3 quarters of this past week. I mean, he looked like legitimately overmatched and that he wasn't ready to play. How much of that has to do with it being his first NFL start, with him playing in his hometown on Monday Night Football in his debut? That that could play something into it. Kevin O'Connell, the way he was able to adjust, I mean, that was something special. The way he was able to put JJ McCarthy in a position to succeed and come back and win that game. The belief that he had in him and what he was able to do. Kevin O'Connell wins close games and knows how to do it, get it done. So that does make me lean towards the Vikings winning this game outright at home. However, as I said, Michael Penix put the Falcons in a position to win against the Buccaneers. So I think it's more about the questions I have on the Falcons defense that still remain and what Baker Mayfield was able to do with Emeka Egbuka towards the end of the game and exploit that secondary. But yeah, it's Justin Jefferson. I don't think they're going to have an answer for him. I think JJ McCarthy's going to feel a lot more comfortable at home playing in front of his home crowd. And, I think the 3.5, I'd probably take the Falcons to cover, but I will take the Vikings to win this game outright.
Yeah. One last point, Pat, just to because you mentioned it. I don't think JJ McCarthy really started playing well until the Vikings started running the football well. And I think if you can stop the run against the Vikings, and we say it all the time with quarterbacks that are either young or maybe not as good as these elite guys, is if you can make them beat you, make these lesser type of quarterbacks beat you, then you have a pretty good chance of winning the football game. And if the Vikings can't run the football, then I think Atlanta has a really good shot to win this football game. I really do. And for 3 quarters last week, the Vikings couldn't run the football for squat. And it was really only until they were starting able to run the football that JJ McCarthy settle in and get comfortable.
And the rookies for Atlanta, Xavier Watts and James Pierce, looked really good last week. And I mean, we haven't even touched on the fact that it's going to be Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell that are going to be on, at least be able to play, be on Justin Jefferson and play over top coverage with the rookie quarterback that's going to be trying to force feed him the ball at this point, because he really wasn't getting the targets until just about. I'm not even sure what his final stat line was, because it wasn't.
He had one catch for the first 3 quarters.
He had one catch for the first 3 quarters. I mean, and that was the first game for JJ McCarthy. So we'll see what happens. One thing that, yes, I would be worried about is Caleb McGarry out with that leg injury, but they do have the Elijah Wilkinson stepping in, a veteran presence. He's not Caleb McGarry, but we'll see what it plays out to. But no, I think Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, and Billy Bowman Jr., the names that they have on the defensive side of the ball for Atlanta, just throw in the rookie quarterback. I think where they're set up at, and then, Michael Penix has been – I am worried. The Drake London is going to be something to monitor. Darnell Mooney sat out the season opener. So who is Michael Penix going to be able to get the ball to outside of Kyle Pitts? Falcons did just sign Parker Romo, obviously, I guess, to bring in competition for Younghoe Koo. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But this is Michael Penix has also been here before. He was backing up Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins made his return debut here at US Bank Stadium. They lost, but it's going to be a place that he's been before. But, Penix really looked good, especially. He almost won the game didn't almost win the game for him, but he came back and was able to take that. Well, yeah, no, he put him up. Being able to run the touchdown and near the end of the game. Buccaneers marched down, scored a touchdown, then Younghoe Koo screwed it for him. I like the Falcons here. I think they looked way more impressive on the offensive side of the ball. I think they have more answers on the defensive side of the ball in terms of being able to stop J.J. McCarthy, who is just going to be in his second year. And you're going to give us 4.5 points. No, I like the Falcons in this one. And, Bijan Robinson already had, I think, over 100 yards in that first week. I don't think that stops, especially, it's not like they're stacking the box against Kirk Cousins, who can't move. Michael Penix has shown he can get outside of the pocket and make the defense run with him and open things up, with his legs. So I think the Vikings got a lot more than they think they're going to be able to handle with the Falcons.
Brian Flores also kind of turned it on towards the end there and was able to the defense got better as the game went on for the Vikings. So I think that's something to consider.
The adjustments will definitely be something to see. It could be a very different
against a young quarterback too. I think Brian Flores showed you that he can kind of put them in a blender. So that also factors into my Minnesota pick.
Welcome to betting the NFL.
Yep. my final point.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead. No,
my final point is that this is going to come down to the third phase of the game. I again trust Minnesota. Drafted a kicker, Will Reichard, worth it.
Well, I'm not going to – come on, Will Reichard, roll tide. I'm not going to argue with that. This is where I do think that if this game comes down to a field goal, I absolutely trust the Vikings.
What other type of kicker? What other type of kicker would you draft if it's not a Will Reichard?
Will Reichard gives you everything you want as a kicker. You're not going to get any argument from me.
Give me Marquette King. Let's make him a kicker.
Where are we even at in this podcast right now? Turtle, did you have a final point that you wanted to make on this game?
No, I was just tallying up how many underdogs I've picked this week so far, and I think I'm at 8. Actually, not as much as I thought. It's still a lot, though.
Hey, overreaction week 2. That's what I've learned in this.